All right, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. Okay, thank you for, again, following me, dealing with my bullshit. I know I could be a pain in the ass at times. And again, I always appreciate the loyalty. That makes sense. Dan Phillips, thank you for the 5 by 5. Appreciate it. Always appreciate it. So, what we're going to talk about tonight is can 2023, how much worse can 2023 get, actually? And obviously there's something to be said that it can get worse because of where we are headed. Patty S, thank you for joining me tonight. I am not mailing, I'm sending the order in to get your shirts out tomorrow morning. All right. So sorry about delaying that, but you are getting your shirts uh, sent out tomorrow. Sorry. Anyway, with that, guys, we got a lot of shit on the horizon, but I don't, like I said in the Angry Prepper, I don't think things are going to get out of hand. Colleen, thank you for the donation. I think we're going to see a lot of fucked up shit, and I think a lot of the stuff we'll be able to roll with, but I don't think it's going to get extremely out of hand unless a nuclear device gets detonated somewhere on this planet because of Russia and China or North Korea. If we see one of those, if we see that event unfold, then shit's going to get crazy. If we don't see that unfold, we're going to have to contend with the economy. Um, the economy is definitely going to take a shit, guys. We are seeing food at an astronomical price. If you live here in New York City, you see eggs for almost $9. I'm going to post something on Instagram pertaining to that. um, yeah, food wise, things are going to get out of hand. Economy wise, I think things are going to get out of hand. Every last economic expert or CEO or CFO has been warning us that we are headed down a road for a recession. Now, a couple of people said the recession is going to get really, really bad, quote unquote. Now, really, really bad, guys, means depression. So maybe they don't want to say that because they don't want to scare people into pulling their money out of the market. Because here's the one thing, guys. If they continue to talk about this recession and we enter the recession, then they said the recession is going to get bad and it's going to get really bad. Um, if they keep talking that shit, that means there's a depression. And they don't want to mention depression because, like I said, they don't want people to start pulling their money from the stock market, which is going to force an early depression. That makes sense. So, um, I think we're definitely gonna see some financial fuck ups or fuckery, if you will. Uh, what we do from there, I don't know. I know a lot of us are in good position as far as prep wise, but I think a lot of us are not ready for the shit show that's going to happen. Now, if a depression does happen, guys, you do have Aaron. Thank you for the donation, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Thank you, Aaron. Um, we have time. We still have time before the depression or the recession hits. We are in a recession now, but the really, really bad recession, we got some time. We got a couple months. So you got months to get ready, though food prices are going up. So you are contending with that as well. But we're going to we're going to be able to tackle it, and we got a heads up about it. So the problem with the economy, guys, is that we have a heads up, and we're being warned, and we've been being warned for about a year. So we got some time ahead of us to get ready for it. Aaron, thank you for bringing that up. Aaron brought up the white lung case that they're running into in China right now. Now, keep in mind, guys, they had an astronomically high amount of Mr. 19 cases, and they said, "Fuck it, we'll open the borders. We're dropping our restrictions on in China." But now they got this white lung thing. Now, the white lung thing, the mortality rate for that, as they say right now, is pretty low. So it's nothing to be worried about, but you will get sick with it if you come in contact with somebody with white lung. I will do more research on the white lung issue, and I will do a video about it. But it seems to be something not to worry about. If you're a germaphobe, maybe you should worry, but but it's not. Sorry, but it's not something that I'm worried about. Again, I wasn't worried about. In the beginning, I was worried about Mr. 19, but now I'm not anymore. Mrs. John Johnson, yes, very suspicious, right? So they have. Okay, so let me clarify something real quick. Thank you, Miss John Johnson. They have an astronomically high amount of Mr. 19 cases. And so now they turn around and say they're suspending their COVID restrictions and they're opening borders and letting people out. But now they have a white lung case going around and they're not doing much about it, or at the very least, they're not being very hands on about it. Sorry. And so with the white lung case, they have a lot of cases in China and they're not doing much about it either. So interestingly enough, they open the border so that they can spread something else. Now, when they were having the whole 19 thing back in 2019, in late 2019, sorry, a lot of us preppers were paying attention to Mr. 19 before it actually hit the United States. The one thing that was sticking out in my head while I was reading these articles and watching these news videos, news clippings, sorry, why the fuck didn't China implement their restrictions as heavy handed as they did this year and last year? But during 2019, they didn't do it, and they didn't do it on purpose. They wanted it to spread. That is the only conclusion I can come up with. They wanted it to spread. They wanted it to spread worldwide. Listen, guys. Again, every big government has something like Langley, Virginia. In Langley, Virginia, supposedly there's a urban legend, but it's not an urban legend. But there's a bunch of guys that sit in a room and they calculate everything that goes on in the world. Everything that goes on, they calculate it. And they calculate the outcome of all the situations that happen. All right. Now, at the time, New York City fireman reading these articles, looking at Mr. 19 spread like wildfire in China, wondering why they didn't want to shut down the borders. And when it got here, then not maybe a month or two later, they decided to close their borders down once it got out of their realm, once it got into the open, once it got into the world. 19 could have stayed there had they implemented the restrictions and the ridiculous restrictions they implemented during the course of the last year and a half. So obviously something's up. And obviously, sorry, something's up if they're letting this go now and they're letting it catch on, because they said white lung is contagious. That was one thing I read out of the article. So I'm trying to dive deeper into to see how bad this is or this is going to get. But we shall see. It's an algorithm. Jasila, I'm sorry I screwed your name up. Jalsia. Jalsia. Jalisa. Jalisa. My God, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, ma'am. Yeah, it is an algorithm, but it's not just the algorithm. It's also the financial experts that are paying attention to what's going on, right? So a lot of the financial experts, like the guy that predicted 2004 and 2008 crash, I forgot what his name was. Um, it wasn't just the algorithm; it's what he was paying attention to. It was patterns that they were paying attention to. Sorry, we're paying attention to patterns. When they were paying attention to the patterns, they were looking at it and going, "Holy shit, this is bad." That's what they were paying attention to. Um, so, Jaleesa, yes, I got it. Some degree. It took me fucking all of 25 minutes to figure it out. I'm like, Jisa, Jalisa, it's Lisa. Like it was. I sound like an idiot. And it's Jaleesa. Stupid. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Yeah, but whatever. It's okay, Grandpa angry. Very good. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, as far as the shit show that we're probably going to see this year is going to be the economy. And food wise, I don't know. Food's going to be it's going to get out of reach for a lot of people. A lot of people are starting to complain now about food. I know in the UK they're having a huge issue with that, and they're not reporting it as much. The reason why they're not reporting it as much is because I think it's going to hit us here as well. It's going to hit us here though at a slower pace than it did the UK. Yeah, sorry. But anyway, that's what we're expecting, guys. We're expecting a shit show of a financial the next couple of years now. Now, somebody said it's just going to be 2023, and then 2024. By mid 2024, things are going to start getting better. Well, somebody just yesterday said that it's going to be like this for the next couple of years. Why is it going to be like this for the next couple of years? Because the recession is going to turn into a depression, and once you get into a depression, you're talking about years of recovery now, right? You get into depression, guys. It does not take months to recover. A recession takes months, and in some cases, years. A depression undoubtedly takes years to correct. And yes, bubble world. You could look at weight gain as prepping. You're prepping your body and your body to store food, so that when shit gets bad, you have a food store, right? So there's always that. Um, but yeah, and yes, Patty, yes, we haven't seen the bottom yet. We haven't seen shit yet as far as that goes. Now, as far as something bigger happening, something doomy and gloomier, there's always the curveball of the big earthquake that California is waiting for. The volcanoes erupting, they are suspecting that we're going to run into a super volcano to erupt soon. They just don't know which one, right? So it could be Yellowstone. It could be some shit over, what is it, by Greece. It could be one of the many super volcanoes they're looking to erupt. They don't know which one it is, and or it's going to erupt, and they're just speculating right now. They don't have any definitive proof. Earthquakes, same thing. They don't have any definitive proof that can happen. That can be a curveball as well. Again, a lot of curveballs can pop up when in regards to nature and um, anything cosmic from out of the sky. There's also that. I think we're going to see a curveball this year. I just have that feeling. It's going to be a curveball. It's going to put us off. Solar flares. Thank you for bringing that up, K. Paul. So supposedly, one of the things I've been reading about is we might have a massive solar flare this year, either this year or next year. And if we have a massive solar flare, and the one that they're talking about we're going to have, it's going to make the one from the small one that hit Earth and fry all our lines, except for we have a lot more electronics now. So if we get hit with a um, solar flare, it's going to fry a lot of our technology on that side of the planet. Solar flares doesn't affect the entire Earth, but it will affect the side facing the sun at the time the solar flare hits. That's how it works. In movies, it's like a total blackout of a solar flare. It doesn't work that way. It's the side that the planet's facing when a solar flare hits Earth. Carrington event. Thank you, some degree of sundown. It's going to make the Carrington event look like a walk in the park. That is the again the theory. We don't know what size it's going to be, but they're suspecting that we're going to get hit with a big solar flare, right? And this is coming from somebody who's predicting this shit actually. Yes, all we need MK Ultra. Yes, all we need is a mega tsunami now, and we're good. But again, we shall see. This is all speculation, guys. This is not definitive. This is not going to happen. But I think that curveball we're going to see could be any one of those things. Um, but again, we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see where this goes. Uh, Now, will we see any civil unrest this year? I don't think so. I really don't think we will. I thought we were going to see civil unrest with the Roe versus Wade. We didn't. So, do I think we're going to see any major nuclear fallouts unless something happens suddenly? But I don't think we're going to see anything in regards to that either. And if we do see anything nuclear, it's going to be in the Ukraine. It's going to be used in the Ukraine first. Whether it jumps around the planet or other nations get involved, I don't know. I can't speak on that. Again, you have certain YouTube channels telling us that we're going to see nuclear war this year. Like, definitely. We all know who that person is or persons are. And I don't think we are. I don't think we're going to see that. We're not going to see an all-out nuclear war. And to boot, we have a pussy for an administration. So there's that to contend with. Yes, Adriana, we're going to see food scarcity. That's without a doubt. We'll see that for sure. We'll see prices rise so high people won't be able to afford it, and they're going to be stealing it. So we're definitely still going to see crime skyrocket on whatever front that is, whether it's food related or people robbing people in the street for cash. Um, the World Economic Forum is trying to get their shit implemented, but it's going to be slow going for them. I don't think it's going to. Yes, Sherry Kirk. I have something. I have an EMP thing. I'm going to put in my truck because I don't think I can unhook my vehicle from the battery. It wipes everything out, and I have to get it. What you call it again? I have to get it like recalibrated or some shit. So I don't want to. I don't want to do that. Um, well, like I said, we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Sorry, I was checking something out. So listen, and right, you have CERNs now. CERNs, I'm not worried about. I know every time they fire that what you call it kaleidoscope, not kaleidoscope, but the kaleidoscharm or whatever the fuck that thing's called. Every time they fire it up, people get nervous. Until they rip a hole into the time continuum space thing, then I'll worry. Up until then, I'm not worried about it because I'm like, man, they're firing that thing up all the time. They're always finding, and they haven't fired it up full power. James Price. Okay, you could be right. You could be right there. That makes sense. We could see civil unrest if food gets really scarce. You're right. What is the cover you use for your car? Adriana, it's just a basic car cover. It's nothing crazy. Now I'm thinking about it now. Like maybe I should get something with an EMP thing in it to save the car. Maybe I can get something designed for it. I don't know. But it would stand out like a fucking sore thumb in this neighborhood. That's for sure. Yeah, well, the World Economic Forum will be eating steaks while everybody else is eating crickets or cricket powder. I'm not buying any of that shit. Yeah, well, Jim Patel, I don't want to worry about a lot anymore. Yes, the Hadron Collider is that what it's called? I don't want to worry about much anymore. I'm done with fucking worrying. You can't worry about the future too much because you stay stagnant in the present or the past, if that makes sense. So the more about the future you worry about, the more on the past you rely on. You stay stagnant. You don't go anywhere. So to move forward and move into the future, to keep prepping, to keep fucking fighting what's coming towards us, we got to stay in the present and figure out the future, but not worry about the future playing on the past, right? Because if we do that, guys, we're fucked. That's all we're doing. We're fucking ourselves 1,000%. Uh, DR preparedness. Yeah, right. You're right. I'm saying both. I'm thinking it's going to be scarce and it's going to be unaffordable, right? It's going to be both ways. Yeah, so I'm trying to take a new approach in a lot of shit now, especially with like my temper, trying to get under control, and not getting it under control. It's under control. I have my moments, and I have to fucking you got to change a little bit to move forward. If you're not gonna change, you're not gonna move forward. You're gonna stay the fuck where you are. And you know what I noticed that guys? So I've been in my mother's neighborhood for a little while now, back where I grew up, and I'm seeing the guys that I grew up with are still here. And not only are they still here, but they're doing the same shit, getting high and doing nothing with their lives. If you don't change something about yourself, you're gonna stay stagnant and you're never gonna fucking grow. Right? Simple. So move forward, man. Don't stay fucking. Don't stay idle in one spot. It'll kill you. It'll kill you fucking slowly. Anyway, with that, guys, I'm gonna end it early tonight. I do thank you guys for following me tonight and dealing with my bullshit and all the other stuff that goes along with it. Guys, like I said, I don't think this year's gonna get out of control, but we'll definitely see some fucked up shit. But out of control would be like what we saw in 2020. right? That was out of control, and all the shit that followed with it. I don't think we're going to see that. I don't think we're going to see lockdowns. I know somebody was talking about lockdowns, and I'm like, I don't think we're seeing lockdowns, dude. But Dan Phillips, I am getting out of the city. I will be out, I'm hoping, within the next 6 months. I have a 6 month plan. If I'm not out of here in 6 months, I'm fucking living out of my car. That's the direction I'm going in. Other than that, guys, atomic bombs will finally be launched. We don't use atomic bombs anymore, Yuri. No one has used an atomic bomb since, I don't know, the 30s or the 40s. But anyway, with that, guys, thank you for following me, and I will see you guys Wednesday morning for the Wednesday midweek report.